and Miss Ahmed Waziri, please. Please, a round of applause for them. Sorry. Please.
Thank you very much. And the way that you pronounced my name, I feel like I should charge you something. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone here that's made it today, despite the rain. Thank you for joining us today. I also want to welcome you and tell you why we're doing this. Why does TT Labs exist, for example? Why do we need more TT Labs to exist in this region? TT Labs started because a lot of us are out there, probably working in other ecosystems, and then we saw the gap. I worked as a venture partner for a lot of VCs in London. I was helping them to source for deals in Africa, but a lot of the companies I get are from Lagos. And whenever a northern founder sends me a deck, I'm unable to forward it. And I just started to ask myself why. Because these are great founders. These are founders that are really building something. And I know they know what they're doing. But what the lack of an ecosystem does to you is the little things that you need to put your story together, to put your product together so that investors would actually see what you're bringing to the table. They don't get it because there is no ecosystem to give them that. And then one day I went on a call with Bash, right? And Bashir had the same idea. We had the same problems because we also worked in the ecosystem. And we started TT Labs after a couple of phone calls. I'm proud to say that it's been an incredible journey. This is our first cohort. It wasn't perfect, nothing close to perfection. But I think the story is there is something out there now. And there is something for people that want to run accelerators to see and to also start. We need more TT Labs to start and grow in Northern Nigeria. So I'll pass it on to Bash because each of our funding partners should say something. They've all been part of this incredible journey. And I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And once again, welcome. As she said, it's been an incredible journey, nothing close to perfection. But we'll get there, and we are the first of many of such accelerators in the North. To our founders, please be confident. Wow the investors. Ensure you walk away with one check or the other. To our mentors and partners, thank you for following us along the journey and ensuring we guide the founders and the startups to get to this day. Thank you very much for coming. And our last founding partner, Habiba Waziri. It is Waziri. Yes, Waziri.
Thank you, Bashir. Good morning, everyone. We're really excited to have you here. Suraya has already given a background of how TT Lab started. Bashir has told you why, and I'm going to tell you what we hope to achieve. We have really enthusiastic founders that have committed over 6 months with us and have trusted the process. We've also, seen their journey grow from even before they joined us to up until today. And so we have high hopes for them, and we hope that when they come up here, you also cheer them and encourage them. Put a smile on your face so that it eases them a little bit, because it's not easy to put yourself out there. And for our founders, you have no idea how proud we are of you. We have literally watched you guys grow from the stars that you are, and now you're superstars. And we hope that this doesn't end here. We hope that you guys become ambassadors for other startups that are looking to go through this accelerator with us. So I'm going to throw it back to our MC. If you have any questions, there'll be time later on to answer them. But thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Please, you can do better than that. Please clap for her, clap for her, clap for her. Thank you very much. So we'd like to acknowledge our partners, Metronet, Proband, TechPoint Africa, Northern Founders Community, Sterling Bank, UNDP, Cafe One, and Spretal. We will to speak to us about visibility and publicity in the startup ecosystem. Please welcome, with a round of applause, Mrs. Eberechi. Please clap for her as she comes forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. My name is Eberechi, and I'm one of the co-founders. I'm the co-founder of Safital. So I'm just going to be brief. I didn't plan for this speech, but then when I met her, we met through a different platform. So I saw what she wanted to do for women and for what she wanted to do for the North. So we met on, I think we had the that young Nigerians can do a lot more than, I know what they did is a lot more than what she expected. So we started doing their videos. So in the process of doing their videos, I saw their plans, their ideas. It took me back to our own story. When we started up Safital, we started up as an e-learning company. But I had these high hopes of trying to raise funds. So when you want to raise funds, first off, the investors will say you're in Nigeria, so they won't give you money. So I tried to raise funds. The weird thing about trying to raise funds is that it takes you away from running your company, and the only thing you end up doing is you're having investor meetings, pitch decks, you pitch today, tomorrow. I pitched to almost all the countries. I had to go all the way to Silicon Valley. I traveled to the US. I did everything. And we didn't get the funding because, sadly, because of where we're from. And they said, oh, Nigeria, long story cut short. So we had to register as a US company. After the registration, but then you still had bottlenecks. People make it look easy, that when you want to raise funds, it's easy. It's not easy. You will have 100 pitch decks, and you will keep on changing your pitches. You will pitch to somebody, and then it gets to a point, and they don't speak to you anymore. So the disappointment is actually higher than what you expect. So we got somebody on our board. She's from the UK. She said, I think what you need to do is focus on running your business. Leave fundraising. That was what changed it for us. So we focused on running the business. Then I started looking in-house, because sometimes when you want to raise funds, the fund you want to raise is actually from home. So we started trying to reach out to people that we know. So we reached out to 1 or 2 people. The first person said, I might not give you fund, but I'm going to give you a business. So she gave us a business, 18 months project. So with the 18 months project, I started up Florewa. Then another person said, okay, I'm not going to give you fund, I'm going to give you a business. So we gave a business, and then before we knew it, today, we've been able to build the Nigerian SME Digital Academy. It's through relationship. We built the Nigerian Export Academy, still through a relationship. Currently, we're the ones that build the Nigerian Youth Academy, which is going to be launched very soon. We've built a lot of academies for the government. So what I'm saying is this. You might not be able to raise the funds, but then it doesn't mean you should stop your startup or stop your business. Just go ahead and keep on doing what you can do. Most times what you need is right here in Nigeria. Whatever you need, it's here. Or the people you need to actually invest in you or to believe in your product is here. So, and I want to say thank you to the founders of TT Labs for an amazing event. Thank you.
You guys don't like clapping. Please clap, 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 clap. Thank you very much. Thank you. I will move forward to the keynote address, which is going to set the tone for this amazing event. And for that, we are going to have Madam Miriam Shitu, team lead as NSIA Infrastructural Fund. She's going to give us a beautiful address. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes to the stage. Please come forward.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miriam. I am the head of technology investment at NSI. NSI simply means Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority of Nigeria. For today's speech, I will speak a bit about what NSI does, and then I would also speak about 5 critical things that every startup must do to position themselves for investment. So, NSI is an investment institution of Nigeria established by the Federal Republic of Nigeria to manage, invest 3 ring-fence funds. The first fund is the Nigerian Infrastructure Fund. The purpose of the fund is to enhance the development of Nigerian infrastructure. The second fund is Stabilization Fund, and the purpose of that fund is to provide stabilization support in times of economic distress. And the third fund is the Future Generation Fund. And the purpose of that fund is to provide a saving base for the future for all Nigerians. Within NSI, as the head of technology investment, I cover 4 thematic areas. One is innovation, the second is digitization, the third is talent development, and the final one is technology infrastructure. For the purpose of this session today, I will be speaking about the innovation workstream. So within innovation, my purpose or aim is to identify and finance just cutting edge solutions as well as technologies that would drive growth within both Nigeria and Africa. And one of the programs that we have under that work stream is what I call NSI Prize for Innovation, so NPI for short. So NPI is an initiative by the authority to identify, finance, educate, and empower early stage startups by providing the financing that they need to kind of scale and grow. And we've had 2 editions so far. We're committed to have 5 editions in total. For the first edition that occurred last year, we had 3-stage approach. The first stage was the call to application stage. We received over 2,000 applications submitted. After we received the 2,000 applicants, we actually evaluated and selected the top 25 that went through a 4-week training program. And then the top 10 were the top finalists for Demo Day. And the top 3 were selected that won over $250,000. And that occurred last year. This year, the edition was bigger and better by far in that we had a 4-stage approach. The first stage, we received over 7,000 applicants, doubling or tripling what we received the last year. And all the top 10 applicants that were selected this year are going to Silicon Valley for 5 weeks, all expense paid trip to kind of learn and grow their startups. And then the top 3 out of the top 10 are also winning over $220,000 in cash and equity prizes as well. So within NSI, we are committed to investing within the ecosystem and just driving change and driving growth. So feel free to apply next year. So now I'm going to speak about some critical things that all startups must do to position themselves for investment. And it applies to the NPI program because we had to evaluate from 7,000 this year to select the top 100 that went through a virtual training and then select the top 10 that are going to Silicon Valley in October this year. So what are the critical things that we look at when we are investing or when we're selecting those startups? So I'll speak about 5 critical things, and please feel free to ask me any questions that may arise. So the first one is that you have to understand your investors. If you want to select an investor, you need to make sure that their strategy or their objective aligns with what you're also providing to the country in terms of a solution. So at NSI, we have a mandate to drive long-term economic growth while delivering, because we're managing the funds of Nigerians, we need to deliver both economic as well as social impact, right? So returns as well. So as a startup, you have to showcase that you are not only making money or have a path to make money, but also you have to show that you are making an impact to the country or Africa as a whole. So you have to be able to show that you or connect your solution to SGDs. SGDs simply means sustainable development goals. So how are you achieving that as well? Because we find startups that are addressing both profitability as well as social impact just so much more interesting. So that's one key thing we look at, and that's one key thing you should think about when positioning yourself for investment. The second is you have to address a problem space. You can't wake up tomorrow and say, whew, I want to make tech solutions for cleaning shoes. Do people truly need that? So your solutions that you're building or your MVP must be able to address tangible as well as significant market problems. Clearly articulate what problem are you addressing? What is your value proposition? You have to be able to speak about what is your addressable market, your TAM. You have to be able to speak about, is your business model scalable and is it profitable. So I think you have to think about the problem you're solving. Are people willing to pay for people? Like, are you solving somebody's critical need by has impact? So I think that's like a critical one. The other one is you have to showcase traction. And when I say traction, people think about money, but it's not always about money. So with traction, numbers talk, but it's not just like dollars or naira. Number could be like user growth. Okay, are you getting more customers? It could be revenue. It could be, even though if it's not like revenue, just a path to revenue is good. The other item to speak about here is that you also have to demonstrate impact. And I know I speak about impact, but I think impact is critical. Are you building innovation for good? Is technology solving a need within both, urban areas as well as rural areas? So if you can think about how does your startups align with the SGD goals? Are you reducing poverty? Are you improving equality? And I think by showcasing that, investors are more attracted to the solutions that you're providing. And then finally, and I say finally because this is just a list because I don't want to kind of cover too much today, is that you have to have a strong management team. There's no way to, all investors, I say that all the time, like even in our selection of our top 10 this year, it is critical to know that you're investing in not only the solution, but the people. Do they have the skill sets? Do they have the bandwidth? Do they have the business experience to actually deliver on the business model they're proposing? Because in most cases, and I've seen that a lot in Nigeria and in the US, whereby the guy, the startup has a beautiful pitch, is able to kind of, wow the audience. And by next year, the program or the startups has, closed up, for lack of a better word. So you have to be able to show a team of diverse skill sets on your team. So from the CEO to the COO to the CFO, like you just have to show that you guys have the skill sets and the bandwidth to be able to deliver your solutions to completion. And also show business continuity. I think that's like the critical one. So in essence, in summary, what I'm trying to say is that for you to position yourself for investment, you have to, one, have a compelling story. You have to be able to kind of understand the market space, the problem space, the solutions you're trying to provide, and you have to be able to kind of sell that to your investors. You have to understand what your investors' objectives are, because until you know the objectives, will you be able to tailor your solutions to that objective as well, or align or create a synergy between you and your investors? You have to be able to showcase innovation, impact, and a path to profitability. Not always you don't have to be profitable at the first goal, but you have to showcase a path to profitability. You have to be able to sell your vision so that other investors can buy into that vision. So thank you.
Please, another round of applause. You guys are going to be doing a lot of clapping. She said something remarkable. I think that was the best part for me. I think that's the biggest part I took. You're not just investing in the product, you're investing in the what? In the people. Let me repeat that again. You're not just investing in the product, you're investing in the what? People. So this is the part where you turn to your neighbor and invest in that neighbor. Oh yeah, greet your neighbor. Greet your neighbor, introduce yourself, stand up from your seat, get to know someone. Stand up. We need you, stand up. What's happening? Stand up, introduce yourself. You don't know who's by your side. You can meet your next investor too. So please stand up. Abuja. What's happening with Abuja people? What's happening with Abuja people? If it's in Lagos right now, like everybody will just leave their seats. Like the person at the back will come front. Or should I start going to everyone? Should I start meeting everyone one by one? Okay. Oh yeah, introduce yourself. If not, I'll come and meet you. I'll come and meet you. Ah, ah. You find it. Hey, let me do introduction. That's what I need. You're staying alone. What's happening? Why are you talking to? Oh, yeah, stand up. Go and meet Madam Atiba. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Huh? No, you have not introduced. Go and meet another person. Have you met that guy at the back? Oh, yeah, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Oh, yeah, the people in front. Have you introduced yourself? Sir, sorry, sir. Do you know him? Have you seen this guy? Have you seen him? Have you seen this guy? Look at him. Stand up from there. Do you know the organizer? Stand up. Hey, you're a investor. You're making it stand up. Okay, no, calm down. Who are you introducing yourself? You know him. Stand up. Ah, you don't know that from. I know you because I know two of you. But yeah, stand up. I know you from my village. Stand up. Oh yeah. Go there. Stand up. Introduce yourself. It's time to collect numbers. Good morning. You have seen these people's faces. Me, I've seen this. And the people in front. Let me take you. Let me take you. Let me take you. Huh? Yes, networking. Let's network. Let's meet each other. I brought someone to come and meet you. Sorry. Oh yeah, I've come. I've carried her. I want to carry someone. You are meeting everyone from your seat. You are following. It's networking time, so let's network. Let me introduce myself. Since nobody oh yeah, shine. Let me do the introduction. Good morning. It's Chamaka. Yes, thank you. Don't introduce. I will come and meet him. I've still come with my wife. Since people don't want to stand up. I don't know why the Abuja people were shy. I don't know why. Why just early morning. If you wait for that's why we don't go. That's why nothing is happening in Abuja. You reach it, it's not cool. It's not cool. You're running. I will still. Are you running? Are you running? You can. You don't want to meet me. Good morning. Good morning. I'm a recruiter. So everybody's doing introduction. I'm a recruiter. Company. To work for a startup. All right, all right, all right. Thank you very much. You all were shy before. Now you're communicating. Please, can we sit down? Can we all have our seats now, please? Can we all have our seats? There are people that I told network. They didn't network that time. They were doing shy. Now they're now networking. Please, let's sit down. Let's have our seats. Let's have our seats. Please, let's be seated, please. Amazing ladies and gentlemen, please let's be seated. Networking time is over. To our shy and introverted people, thank you for agreeing to move. Thank you for cooperating with me, your MC. All right. Please let's be seated. Let's be seated. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So we're going to have our second keynote address by Mr. Kabir Shitu, the COO of SIDO Africa, who is currently in Atlanta right now. So he's going to be joining us via Zoom. And I'm going to read his magnificent bio. So please listen. Listen carefully. He's a seasoned business manager with 12 years of experience and a demonstrated record of accomplishments in business development, growth strategy, in the financial and telecommunication service industries, delivering results that impact overall financial profitability, and commercial performance. He's none other than the amazing Mr. Kabir Shitu. Please, a round of applause for him as he joins us live, online.
As loud as possible, okay?
Okay. Hello, can everybody hear me?
No, they can't hear you. I don't think they can hear you. Can you hear? Can you speak? Can you speak, please? You are muted. Try that. It's not working. Kabir, can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, I'm trying to see if I can change the internet. Can you hear me now?
Louder, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. And I'm thrilled to be here celebrating all the young people. You want my video? Okay. Sorry. I'm here today celebrating all of you, the incredible young ones, and yes, the disruptive founders. Yeah, that's what we call ourselves, and I hope we'll be able to do that. In anything you feel you are doing, you are either disrupting a norm, what people know, the easiest way to them, how they do things. You're trying to give them a better way to solve that. That is the whole essence of what most of us do as founder. Irrespective of what you think you are doing, you're probably solving somebody's problem. Let's face it, the road to entrepreneurship isn't always easy. Like, it's not easy. You start and you realize some days you wake up in the middle of night and start thinking, what is the main reason why I'm doing this? What am I gaining from this? Because of a lot of trouble that you have. For instance, say a person like me that is into finance, is it trouble from investor? When I mean trouble, I'm not saying it's like trouble, but issues that will come either from investors, they want this, they want that, issues that will come from regulator, issues that will come from competitor, issues that will come from fraudulent users, or those who just sat in a room and finding a way to swindle you. So you try to question yourself, why am I actually doing this? Is it worth it or not? But believe me, if you are resilient, you will make it. You may have faced unique challenge depending on what PD you have, and perhaps limited resources, which is the main thing that a lot of founders find in the beginning. You can't raise funds, you have co-founder, or you have some few people that are working with you, but you can't even pay them, or you need to pay. Maybe some of you that are based in Kano, and you need to come to Abuja to attend this. You need to look for money to even transport yourself to get this. These are little things that to you might not count, but there are limited resources to you becoming a founder that you're supposed to be. Or just lack of traditional support. Yeah, you're lucky you're in TT Lab. A lot of founders do not have this kind of community where they can get access to maybe resources, people, or even mentorship. But those challenges are also fuel your fire. In some cases, these are the things some of us in the beginning, because we did not even have that community, or we don't have that funds, it has fueled us to say, okay, I must really succeed in this thing that I'm actually doing. And this make you a resourceful and determined founders that you are today. Despite the obstacle, you chose to take control of your future, and that's the reason why you are here. Because you've seen that, okay, there are obstacles, but I need to solve this. I need to to the teaming public opportunities. You went all out, and you are here today not just because of your ideas, but because of your resilience, your grit, and your unwavering belief in yourself and your ability to make a difference. I believe that's the reason why you're here today. Now, let's talk about these amazing ideas that you develop. Today, it's all about showcasing the solution to the world. You have talk real world problem and develop innovative solution. Now, okay, let me put something here. Yeah, sometimes we build things that some other people have built. So don't look at it as if you are not still giving solution. If you are building a payment platform, yes, Paystack have built, Flutterwave have built, every other person have built. Maybe there is a part of solution in the payments that are going to provide that these big people have not provided. Yes, so you are providing a solution to the world, believe me. So don't get distracted. Some people will tell you, what are you building when this person has built this? It might be in your implementation that is different from those other people that will make people to come to you. So don't relent in that. Empower community. and leave the lasting impact. That's the whole idea. Build something that even when you leave and they will continue using it, maybe in some 10, 20 years, oh, so person that built this. And yes, though he's not here again, but that's his legacy. My few advice, as you move forward on this journey, here are just some few words from him. Believe me, I'm not perfect. Like I said, I have bosses in those rooms, which I still come to once in a while to ask for advice. Remember the drive and passion that got you here. Don't be afraid of hustle, to work hard, and to constantly learn and evolve. Believe me, so what some of us do, founders, is okay, you build something, you've been able to raise small funds, from there you become a big man. No, you don't have to stop at that. Continue looking for a better way to present your solution to the teaming population. That's the only way you can be relevant. But if after you've gotten something, a bit or something right, you went to sleep, that means you're not even interested. Like my able sister said earlier, that you need in the business continuity. If an investor, even if I've invested $1 in you, and I realize you don't have that passion to continue, if you come back tomorrow, I probably will not invest in you. Believe me, whatever you think you are doing now, anybody that is investing in you, only investing in you personally, not in your business. They want to see your passion. They want to see, can you actually continue this? Do you have passion for this business? Yes. Do you know this business? Like the idea you are trying to present, do you know it? Yes. Do you look like somebody that will continue irrespective of the challenges that you face on the road? Yeah. That's the reason why they are going to invest in you, not because of your product. Because right now, you probably have not made $1 in your business. So they can assess you based on, can this business thrive? They want to see your passion. So you are the first person they are actually investing on. So embrace that your hustle. Don't say, okay, you get to a point, you just relax. You have to continue to hustle to make it grow. Second part is that surround yourself with other supportive founders, mentors, and allies who believe in your vision and can help you to navigate the ups and downs. You're already in one. You're in TT Lab. I believe they will give you all the support and all. Then when you have founders around you, irrespective of what they are building, is it the same thing with what you're building or not? But all of you can give yourself that kind of motivation. When you see somebody progressing, you want to progress too. So surround yourself. Not after this now, you go to get those who are already in the skin, those who already have money. No, you need to surround yourself who are in your level, who can actually give you advice, who can give you motivation. Never stop learning. Believe me, sometimes throughout the day, I'm either reading a textbook. When I'm in textbook, I'm researching about some few things on probably what I'm building, what some other people have built, or what somebody has written about it, which could, what's it called, which could help me in what I'm doing. Then give back. Remember the paths you've walked and the challenges you have. Just like I said earlier, there are some few people that cannot even pay their transport, say from somewhere to come to program. So if there's a way you can give back, and when I'm talking of give back, it's not necessarily money. It could be advice, it could be just help and the rest for those who are coming, because that's the only way we can take ourselves. Believe me, we are already in the disadvantage system. When I mean disadvantage system, we come from the north, we are in the north. Founders do not, I don't want to say they do not really see us as potential that way. So what it means is that we need to give double. We need to give double to be able to show that we can actually work as those in the southwest. What happened? Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. But they say my video is not showing.
No, we are seeing.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, like I said, in the north, I remember when we started, even from our first startup, we are requested. There's a founder, a court actually wants to pay, and they told him, no, we are not planning to do Lagos and business. Yes, your parents is still there, not as the level we want, but thank God we started Sudo and we were able to get investment. Even after that, we are asked to move to Lagos by some of our investors and say, no, we're not going to move. But we moved from Abuja, from Kaduna to Abuja, which is within. The idea is we want to show our other colleagues, our other founders that, okay, you can actually do this while you're in the north. You don't have to move to Lagos or any other place. To, what's it called, to make it. So I just hope with this few lecture of mine, you understand. And I am available through either Auntie Suraya or Brother Bashir. You need to talk to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
have
sir.
A great...
Thank you very, very much, sir. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you so much for joining us. He said something. This mic is too loud. My voice is echoing. He said, as a founder, that's the part me I took. I don't know about you. He said, as a founder, your friends need to be what? Your friends need to be who and who. Nobody, people were not listening to him. Your level. Me, I heard, as a founder, your friends need to be what? Founders. And the reason is because the startup ecosystem, it's not easy to cope. You need people that understand what you are going through and will help you, because it's not easy. Then there's something interesting. I think that's the best part, the part that I heard that made me smile. I was just smiling and blushing by the side. He said, make sure you read books. Make sure you read what? Books. So who and who are reading any book, or you have read any book this month at all? Anybody? Anybody? You, which book? Which book? Tell us the name. Just tell us the name. Huh? Wow. The Millionaire Fastly. I like money. So are you? Which one? 48 Laws of Power. Money. Yes. Network. Me, I can never. Networking. Wow. Yes. I'm just hearing like books. Yes, please. I think. Please call the name again. I like. Nearly all the men in Lagos are mad. I'm going to definitely read it. You don't just necessarily have to read business books, all of that. You come and be speaking big English, big grammar. No, you have to actually grow your creative mind as a founder. Because story is what sell. You sell through what? Stories. You don't sell through what? English language, like big English. So please read Friction. Please have the hard copy. Let me follow it to your house and collect it. Okay. All right. We are going to go straight and move over to the best part of the event. The part that I've been waiting for. I don't know about you, but it's the part I've been waiting for. Now, this is the part where you are going to see great startups who have done amazingly well so far, and you're going to hear from them. So these startups are ready for you to invest, for you to share your ideas, for you to give them feedback. So please listen closely, pay rapt attention to them. So anyone you like, just tell me. If you're shy, You can just do your hand like this and just hint me, I like that startup, I like that startup, I want to get to know them, or stuff like that. Please let us know. For the pitching session we're about to start, please startups, note that you have a maximum of 5 minutes to pitch your startup. So tell us why we should invest in you. If you're Elon Musk, tell us, let us know. If you're Mark Zuckerberg, anyone you want to be, just let us know why we should what? Why we should invest in you and why you're different. And you have 3 minutes to answer questions. And my beautiful audience, both those online and those present here, we have 2 questions. So we can ask, just raise your hand and I'll pick you. Make sure you're smiling. Because if you're not smiling, I will not call you to ask questions. And please, if there are some questions that is what we call jam question. So if the question is very hard and it can bring confusion and all of that, one thing I know I have in this life is PhD for complex questions. Do you understand? For complex questions. That's what I have PhD. So we have read people's amazing, like the amazing bios of people, but me, I have PhD in complex questions. You can just ask me. I will answer it for you. You understand? Thank you very much. Let's move on. So the first amazing startup that we're going to have on the list is Interface Africa. Interface Africa. And a bit summary of them. Thank you very much. A brief summary of them. Interface Africa enables clean energy companies to understand, sell, and collect from underserved communities beyond the grid. They address the interconnected problems of energy, poverty, and financial exclusion. Wow. By connecting customers, distributors, and financiers. 3,000, they have beautiful results. 3,000 homes powered. $5 million in solar financing. 50,000 metric tons of carbon emissions saved. Wow. 44.72% monthly growth rate. Please, a round of applause for them. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Halima Mohammed, and I'm a co-founder for Interface Africa. And with me here, I have our founder, Alamin Idris. So what do we do at Interface? What we actually do is we try and connect companies to underserved last mile citizens of the country. So we found out that there's a problem there's a problem where these companies are not able to distribute their products to the last mile citizens of the country. And this is because of a few reasons, such as lack of insights, sales channels, and also the payment solution, things that hinder the payment solution. So that's what we're here to do. And I'll give the mic to my founder, Alamin, to discuss further.
All right, so this problem has left over 700 million Africans, with over 100 million of them in Nigeria, in the dark, after spending about $10 billion annually on fossil-powered alternatives. So how do we solve this? So backed up by data, granular insights on these communities and market, we enable these companies to solve the problem, which is interconnected, energy and finance, to help them sell and collect in these underserved communities. So we provide them with granular insights on the communities. For example, you want to power female-owned businesses in a rural community in Kano. We have the data and we give you insight that enables you to do that. And our model is simple. We charge a commission on every sale and every collection we do on your behalf. So far, we have mapped out over 100,000 small businesses across Nigeria and sold over 30,000 solar home systems deployed in these communities and collected over 250,000 of the revenue for this customer. Because we are solving energy and finance, it's interconnected. We enable them to pay over time, giving them access to credit as well. Yeah. So we have so far powered over 30,000 homes, touched over 150,000 lives with an average family size of 5, saved over 50,000 metric tons of carbon emission over the last year, and we are growing really fast. We have grown by over 2,000% over the last year, and we have unlocked over $5 million of solar financing for these homes and businesses we've powered. Next, we want to map out over the next year 1 million businesses and at least sell to 200,000 of them $200 worth of product from the energy and FMCG sector and gain 5% of it as revenue, which is about $2 million. So how do we do this? We are seeking an investment of $1 million that will enable us empower our field operations, our back office, our customer center that will be doing the validation, monetization of these units, and also drive business development. So our competition, we have other players in the market that do sales and collections for solar home systems, but none of them has the level of granular data we have. We can tell you businesses or homes that have had access to credit, that have certain education level, that speak this language, that are within this age group. So for example, you are interested in knowing all the Misuya in a community. You want to power them because they operate at night. We can tell you that in Taroni, in Kano, there are 100 Masuya. They operate within these hours. Their primary energy source is this. They serve from this and this. This is what they spend averagely on energy, and this is how you can provide services to them. And through our agent network that actually did the data collection, you can sell to them, and then through them, you can collect your money over time. And okay. So, please behind. So energy and finance is the starting point because it's interconnected. Beyond that, we have seen other services that we can unlock. So say, for example, you are interested in Mishai. We have powered them. We've given them energy access to financing as well. You can finance their inventory. For example, you know the number of crates of egg they consume in a week. You know the number of cartons of Indomie and all that. You know the tins of milk, for example. So you can unlock other services from the FMCG sector, which we are already piloting that with Sabi on our 100,000 merchants across Nigeria. And we are also trying to work with the development sector to identify beneficiaries for their target programs. We are also looking at similar African markets with similar challenges to expand to beyond energy. All right. So we are the best team in the world to do this. I've worked on some of Nigeria's most impactful social investment programs, from trader money to ABP to other beneficiary targeted investments. Halima has worked on NEP. And she has helped power over 100,000 homes, impacting over 500,000 lives across Nigeria. And Ali is one of the best developers and designers you can have. So far we have also partnered with other companies that help accelerate our impact. So we just finalized our commercials with MTN. We are available on all their channels, USSD, the My MTN app, also their Momo agent networks. They will ride on it to deliver these products and collection. We've worked with Verdant, we've worked with Links, we've worked with Thrive Agrec to unlock opportunities for their farmers for solar irrigation pumps, solar lighting, solar cooling for refrigeration as well. These are some of the distributors we work with: Coolbox for refrigeration, A-Solar for lighting, and Soil Culture for solar irrigation pumps. So we are seeking partnership with you for distribution, financing, as well as technology transfer, because we just don't want to be the dumping ground here in Nigeria. We also enable companies to come and build in-house based on our peculiar needs and direction. So thank you. Looking forward to talking more.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Any questions? 2 questions? Anybody? 2 questions. We need. I was scared though that you have 2 questions. So please, any question? Any question about his project? Any? You have a question? Yes. Go ahead then.
Hi, how are you? I
Please,
don't know if you can hear me.
Correct. Yes, we can hear you.
I had a question. You showed your revenue. I think it's 2 million. But what is the breakdown of your revenue? Like, what is like your profit? And maybe you can explain your unit economics as well, like your cost.
Just a minute. Let's take the second question so you just answer all of them at once.
Good morning. So from your deck, I saw two things, and I think verification. So
Been able to collect over time about $250,000 worth of product we've sold, and kept about 15% of it as our revenue for sales, collections, and installations. So over time. So what happens in that case is we help the businesses sell, and we're meant to get 5% of it. But because the money is coming staggered, our payment is coming staggered as well. Our commission. So we can't sell 150,000 naira worth of product and get it outrightly, since the company we're partnering with is just getting 10% right now. And then whenever they make the 10,000 naira payment, we get and this 15% is representing the actual time frame we are covering currently of the product. So we have a product with an 18-month life cycle, and we are just 3 months in to the cycle, which is what we have collected of the money.
All right, so the second question, please briefly answer that. Did you get the second question?
So I think it's interconnected.
Okay.
So it's just about being staggered. And what that does is, the problem with solar in Nigeria is people can't afford the outright payment. People want to transition to solar. Every single one of us wants to do that, because with the subsidy removal, with the advancement of technology, it becomes cheaper than alternative. Even the grid, as it is per kilowatt hour right now, it's cheaper. But the upfront cost is quite high, and people can't afford it. So what this allows them to do is, instead of you buying a generator and then having to power it for the rest of your life, why not spend the down payment you are meant to spend on the generator, on the solar, as a solar down payment, and then you spread out your payment over time. And after a year, you wouldn't have to pay anyone nothing.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Please, a round of applause for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Please, if you have questions for them, you can meet them later. Like I said, if you have had questions, you can also ask me later on. All right. So we'll move to the next startup. This is the startup that I like because I love the name, especially. It's screaming money, 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 money. And I love the sound of money, right? Near pays. Near pays. Please, a round of applause for them as they come up. NearPays is a financial startup focused on financial inclusion, offering a unique solution that allows users to debit a card using its soft POS, which operates on smartphones without the need of a physical terminal. The system also works offline and includes additional features tailored to user needs. The results so far: $1.3 million in revenue, 97% retention rate, established in 3 countries within 12 months. Wow. Making a pan-African impact and statement on financial inclusion. A round of applause for them. Please clap for them. I told you I like them because they have something to do with money. Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mercy. I'm the head of administrations at NearPays. The CTO is here. His name is Luke, and the founder will be joining us. So what is NearPays? What do we do? NearPays is a fintech startup that focuses on financial inclusion. So majorly what we do is to ensure that businesses have a seamless experience while carrying out their transaction. So instead of, okay, how do we power financial inclusion? Let me just go to that so that the founder can buttress more. We have done this through driving key products. Some of these products include the virtual POS, the rural virtual POS, and then the corporate dashboard. The virtual POS allows a user or the merchant to accept payments using their mobile device. I will just allow the founder to elaborate on this. Thank you. All right. So while we're waiting for him to join, so what's the problem? Financial exclusion. Over 350 million, we have over 350 million excluded adults right now, financially. And what happens? For some reason, some persons have issues with internet connections. Okay. So he can. All right. We apologize for. We'll continue. Sorry, we apologize for that. So Victor is in Rwanda actually trying to close up a business deal there for us. All right, so back to the presentation. What's the problem that we have? We realize that we have a lot of unbanked Nigerians, and with the focused on the north, we notice that it looks as if a lot of people have been excluded from financial payments. So part of what we are doing is to solve this problem. Then we also realize that we have high digital payment failure rates. I'll just go into one of the products that fixes this problem. So we have the virtual POS. The virtual POS allows you to just sit here with your phone and accept payment from somebody. It means that you do not need the hardware, you do not need the physical POS like the Money Point, the OPay, and the likes. It means that simply by downloading our application on your phone, you can easily accept payment from somebody using your card. It means that we've digitalized the hardware, it has become like a digital platform. That's one of the ways we are solving this problem. Then also we have the rural. Okay, one might think, okay, what if I don't have a smartphone and I'm in an area where the internet connectivity is bad, or that my phone is not NFC enabled? Because of course, yes, your phone has to be NFC enabled. If it is not, you can scan to pay, especially for iPhone users. So what happens for people who do not have this and are in a very rural area? You can use the virtual rural POS. You use the USSD for such payments. Okay, I'll just allow Luke to continue.
Okay. We also have our real-time analytic tool, which is the corporate dashboard. With the corporate dashboard, all businesses can just monitor their transactions across different branches and point of sales just with that dashboard. And you can also monitor your transaction in terms of the payment you make per day, the numbers of transactions per branch, and all that. So you don't need to go to each branch to make some form of calculations or use the manual method of collecting data. So that's why we integrated that corporate dashboard to help the management of business to be very easy. Yeah. Is it the next? So we also have a very high digital payment success rate. We also have API and SDKs. The API and SDK that have existing applications to integrate with our own application, so we all know the market size is over $6,000 trillion. It's over $6 trillion, and it's a very, very large market. Even in Nigeria, it's over $900 million. So it's a big market, as we all know. Next.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation. Please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause. Thank you. So please, any questions for them? I have one person. I have another person in front, so please.
So, seeing as you didn't get time to finish, what's your ask?
All right, we're going to take the questions together. Please ask the second question, please.
Okay, how do you solve logistics problem? How do you onboard people on your project?
How do they? Your voice is very wonderful, so please take it again.
How do you onboard people on your project? How do you, because that's logistics. So how do you get to distribute your products to people?
Okay. The distribution part of the product. So who is going to take the questions? Let's just answer them head on.
The first question, we are asking for $1 million to fund our operation cost. We also have the marketing aspect. Then we hire new developers to kind of rebuild the product, not from scratch though, like to enhance our product. We also have the product development, about 25% of the money we use it, and also legal and compliance, because we are currently leveraging on most of the licenses of our partners. So with time and as we grow, it will become necessary for us to get our own license. So that's what we use part of the money for. And with regards to onboarding users, you can just go to the Play Store or the App Store to download our app. The registration process is seamless. When you register, the next thing is to do your KYC with your BVN or NIN. You will be verified on tier level 1. I also have like 4 different levels. For tier level 1, there's a form of access which up to 250K per day. That's 250,000 naira per day. Level 2, it goes higher, 3 and 4. So it's in compliance with what the CBN is asking for with regards to your access to transactions per day. So that's how we do our onboarding. I don't know if that answers the questions. Okay.
All right. Thank you. I think that answers it. Please, a round of applause for them. It's not easy to stand here. Please clap well. It's not easy. If I call you to stand, can you stand? All right. Thank you very much for that lovely presentation. If you're interested in the project, please let us know. Right. It's time for an amazing startup. I call it super amazing because it's super amazing. If you're interested in fashion, you have a theme for fashion, then you need to listen in on this particular project. The third startup is Stylebit. Stylebit, please can we clap for them? Please come forward. All right. Stylebit is a business management on tool empowering African fashion businesses to scale by digitalizing their business operations. So far, their results, 11,000 businesses currently use Stylebit. The adoption is across 40 plus countries, 20% month-on-month growth. This is what I call a remarkable growth. So please, let's listen to them. So go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ibrahim Ghana. I'm one of the co-founders of Stylebit. At Stylebit, we're helping African fashion businesses scale by digitizing their business processes. Growing up, my mom had a fashion business and was growing and thriving, but this business began to expand. It became very difficult for her to manage her customers. And even keep up with returning customers. It was also difficult for her to manage her staff and assign tasks to the right person at the right time. Forward to today, we have 56 million fashion entrepreneurs in the continent across the supply chain suffering the same challenge because they don't have the right tool to scale or manage their business properly. And we're solving this by giving them a tool that tracks end-to-end of their internal process. StyleBit helps you maintain customer details, track order without fail, oversee multiple location, manage and multiple staff, all from your mobile phone. StyleBit helps you track from when the customer walks into your store to when the item is delivered. With StyleBit, fashion entrepreneurs can now track all their customer information very detailed with their measurements. They're able to track the item the customer brings and even samples just to make sure they don't misplace the item. They're able to share invoice, to share the amount the customer, so the customer knows how much they're paying. And as this item moves through production, they're able to know the status of the item when it's in process and till when the item is ready till it's delivered. This is Golongolo Couture, one of our users. So Golongolo Couture achieved the most profitable year last year using StyleBit, and they grew 25% month-on-month net income. Timely delivery went from 47% to 93%, and that impacted their hiring, finance, and marketing, because now they could see the data within their business and make informed decisions. We charge a monthly subscription, and we have 3 tiers. The basic tier for $2, the pro plan for $5, and $30 for businesses with larger team. Traction. Over the last 11 months, we've seen 11,000 signups across 40 countries, including Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa as our top 3 countries. We have a monthly active usage of 4,000 users, and we're growing for 3% month on month. Our competitive advantage is we're focused on the B2B side of fashion, and that gives us a first mover advantage on the continent. And we also have a very robust management measurement system, which is the best on the continent, if not the world. We believe that at least 10% of these African fashion entrepreneurs are able to pay for our software, and that gives us an opportunity for a $2 billion market for subscription alone. So as we plan to build for the supply chain, the whole supply chain in fashion, we've already built for the custom fashion, which is the made-to-wear. We're currently working on the ready-to-wear part, where these fashion businesses will have their own store and they're able to sell online. Whilst phase 3 is partnering with delivery companies, so these fashion entrepreneurs are able to deliver to their clients anywhere in the world. Phase 4 is having a marketplace to capture the textile market, and also where these fashion entrepreneurs are able to buy any kind of fabric and any sewing item that they need. The 5th phase, supporting with asset financing so that they can run their business properly. My team. So, StyleBit, the founding team, we have like 20 plus years experience of building fashion business, technology, marketing, and communications. Next. Join us as we revolutionize African fashion. And one thing is, I know that for certain, if my mom had StyleBit, she'd still be in business today.
Thank you very much for that. Please, a round of applause for him. Please wait for your questions. Where are you rushing to? Yes? So, who have taken your question before? Do you want to ask? Okay. Who wants to ask? Let me make sure I'm seeing very well. So, 1, 2. You have asked before, so you?
So, like, can fashion designers, like, do you also give e-commerce stores, like, they can post their products and process, like, the payments? Or...
All right. All right. right, thank you. Second question, please.
So I think my next question is around in terms of measurement, right? You mentioned you are taking measurement of these customers. Are you trying to also probably, AI is a very big word, right? Where you got all the measurement and it just model the style, what the style looks like for that person, right? Are you also looking at that on the value chain?
Okay.
I mean, you're taking a measurement. Where you currently are now is that you are taking measurement of the customers, right? Yeah, that's from their length, the breadth. So do you use that measurement to model what the style should look like, or you just take it there just for storing for the tailor itself, right?
All right. So please.
So what we're working on right now is Measure AI, but it's not ready yet because like we already know where we in Africa there are not too many data. So the goal is to, because right now what we have is they're close to like 60 data points for measurement. So what we're trying to do is how can I collect maybe three data points and automatic train the data so that you just get a full measurement, and that helps with remote measurement where a customer does not need to be physically in your store for you to take the measurement, but we need a lot of data to train that. So we're working on that. But that's like long term.
All right.
I just had a question on the unit economics. What is your customer acquisition cost since you're trying to get these tailors in your platform? And also, what's your churn rate? You said you had 4,000 active users. So how many of those users are staying in your platform? And like your churn rate, and how much are leaving?
Okay. So to answer your first question, it costs just maybe 13 naira to acquire one user. So yeah, so and churn rate. So like I said, we have the active usage of 4,000. So the churn rate is not much, right? So.
Right. Thank you very much. I think that's all. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him. At this point, I need to leave this MC work and become a fashion designer. Don't you guys think so? All right. The next amazing startup we have is Spendo. Spendo. I love the name, actually. Please, a round of applause. All right. Spendo is a cloud-based communication infrastructure platform that provides businesses with the tools they need to connect with their customers in a more effective and efficient way. It offers a wide range of features, including high-performance programmable communication APIs and SDKs, unified communications, and AI. The results so far, over $30,000 in revenue. 2 businesses currently use Spendo, 99% retention rate, available worldwide, and global expansion. Wow, this is huge. So please take it away, sir.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for having me today. My name is Ibrahim B. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ibrahim B. And I lead the team.
I think this is louder, or is it just my voice?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, his voice is actually low. My voice is.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ibrahim B. and I lead the team at Spendo. At Spendo, we are building a cloud-based communication infrastructure platform that provides businesses with the tools they need to connect them with their customers using our high communications APIs and AI. The problem we saw is that businesses are struggling to stay in touch with their customers across different communication channels. That is why we built a comprehensive solutions that provides businesses with a centralized platform to streamline their communications for their customer interactions that enhances productivity and deeper customer relationship. Spendo set itself apart with a powerful combination of powerful AI agents, communication APIs and SDKs, and unified platform with a 99% retention rate, and it's been trusted with leading companies such as Central Bank of Nigeria, Bell Microfinance Banks, and many more. We have cutting-edge products such as Verify API. You can easily use our Verify API to connect with your customers across different communication channels such as SMS, email, voice, and WhatsApp. You can also use our Voice API to boost your customer engagement, such as using some features such as virtual phone numbers with real-time voice communications and many more. You can also use our WhatsApp API to authenticate your customers by sending them one-time password on WhatsApp. You can also use our AI-powered features such as the virtual assistants and also a chatbot. We do this by partnering with companies and businesses to integrate our APIs and SDKs into their own systems for effortless communications across different channels. We also have a verification AI suite whereby you can verify your customers using an AI agent. We make money by operating on a subscription-based business model, offering base plans, offering tied plans based on features and usage volume. We are getting a massive momentum with almost 400 plus registered users and 2 plus onboarded businesses at the moment. Some of them are the Central Bank of Nigeria and Bell Microfinance Banks. We also have a competitive advantage that sets Spendo apart from its competitors. Some of the features that we have that is more different than our competitors is an AI. You can also use our AI for virtual assistant, proactive support tools, and many more. You can also use our voice over internet protocol, inbound SMS, and virtual phone number. This means that you can purchase virtual phone numbers of any country and make phone call using our voice over technology. We also have a competitive pricing. According to Model Intelligence, the global cloud-based communication infrastructure market is expected to reach almost 33 billion USD, and we aim to capture at least 40% of it in Africa, EU, US, and Asia. And we are starting with Africa right now at the moment. Yeah. So here are some of our co-executives. We have almost 15 plus years of experience combined. My name is Ibrahim Babangida, and we have some of them that work with different financial technology companies and telecommunication companies right now. We have world-class advisory board members that help us to scale this product. Some of them are Bashir Yusuf, who is the founder partner at TT Labs. We have Abubakar Shehu, who is the director at GLO in the Department of Value Added Services. His role is telecommunications advisory. We have Jimmy, we have Nepisa, and we have Dr. Salis Uba, and all of them are helping us to scale this product together. And I'm looking forward to answering your questions. Thank you.
Please, any questions for him? Any questions? I'm losing style to look at her because her questions. Okay, which let me go with the one at the back first.
Ibrahim, what's your technology stack?
Did you get the question? Okay.
The stack, technology, yes.
All right, thank you. The next question.
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe piggyback on the tech stack. When you look at the competitive slide, what is your defensibility with the AI? Are you using an API from, what are you using an API or you're building it like in-house? You're building it in-house? Okay.
All right. I think you've answered all the questions. Thank you very much for that. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you so much for that. So please, the seats. All right. We have something amazing for you guys, right? So please don't be in a hurry to run off and leave us. We have item 7. Outside, just outside, something very nice for you. So please. All right. Okay. So please, we're going to take a 5 minutes break. So please just step outside and take something nice. And please come back in. All right, so please grab something, grab a bite, and come back in. Thank you. Please let's come forward for the group photograph, please. Please let's come forward. Let's come forward. Let's come forward. 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 Here to where the flex banner is. Locate my voice and find me. Locate my voice and find me, please. Locate the voice and find the person that is speaking. Please, find me, find me, find me, find me, find me. It's time for the group photograph. Nobody wants to stand near me for the photograph. Is it only me that will be in the picture? Okay. Please, let's come forward for the group photograph. Please, I'm not the celebrant, but just come. But I'm the MC, so please, let's come forward. Let's come. Photographer, please arrange us. If you're taller than me, please, at the back, if you're my height. If you're my height, please stand with me. If you're taller than me, just go to the back, please. Please. If you're my height, please stand with me. Stand with me. I'm 7 feet tall. Is it better? Please, everyone. Please, if you are 7 feet tall, you can stand beside me. All right. Photographer, please arrange us. If I don't see myself in the picture, me and you will fight. All of us. Can you see all of us, photographer? Hey, I'm too tall. Hey, hey. Please let's go back to the conference area. Please let's go back to the conference room or area. Please let's go back in. 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 Our partners, supporters. Where's the first cohort? Please, where are you? All right. Please, let's come in. Let's come in. Find me, find me. Find the MC. Locate the voice and find the MC. Find her, find her. Please, let's come in, let's come in, let's come in quickly.
Be different expectations from limited partners and VCs as well. So today we can start by maybe understanding more of the reasons behind the funding landscape currently right now. So it's an open discussion. So maybe we can help founders better understand things to look out for and maybe expectations currently from venture capitalists in terms of what they look for to give them funding.
Hello, everyone. So, based on I think my little experience, raising money for a couple of companies. And what we have seen as the trend right now is there is a huge interest in Africa, and we have seen that focus on Nigeria mainly because of the market size we are able to offer to investors, to businesses, right? But one of the major things that we notice, there's a huge disparity between the kind of offerings you see in different parts of Nigeria. If you look at Lagos as a center, Lagos is a lot more mature in its offerings, from startups to, to the kind of products that are being produced early stage, even at ideation stage, to what you see up north. And that really affects what we are able to access up north, because we have our products are at infancy stage and our processes at our infancy stage. So one of the major things that influences this is the fact that although we have a larger population up north, we do need to bolster our education. Things like this, having ecosystems like this, having, education, having collaboration to get to where we are. But alhamdulillah, we can see there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of money being offered to support Nigerian businesses, especially the ones that are gearing through sustainability, through eco-friendly things. So I think understanding the ask of the international market and offering something for it will go a long way into being able to access this kind of funding. I'll stop here and allow the conversation to continue.
Thank you very much. So nice to be here today. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about what can be done to, of course, better the numbers. 2023 featured a huge drop in venture capital funding all over the world, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, all over the world. 2024, like you rightly mentioned, there's like a cautious rebound. Folks are not, VCs, angel investors are not jumping into deals, but there's some sort of weighing in on what you're doing, what the sector is all about, what the scalability is, and things like that. So speaking a little bit about education, I think one of some sectors are looking attractive these days. The way fintech looked like the damsel, some 4 or 5 years ago. We have sectors such as generative AI. We have folks in green economy, green tech. We have sectors like mechatronics and the rest of it. These are the sectors that are raising the huge funding these days. Of course, it's not because of any magic or because they are out of the blues. It's just because they respond directly to the issues of the day. The climate change thing is one topic that has been spoken about all over the world. AI, as we know, is getting expanded, taking jobs and the rest of it. So naturally, funds are flowing into those areas. So in navigating how funds are being raised these days, I think it's important that first, we on our side try to develop ourselves as much as possible, do some R&D, some research and development in sectors such as this, provide viable solutions that targets and tackles these issues, and I think funding can be better in that regard.
Hi, thank you. So I think I'm going to come from a different angle. And I'm going to talk about how people need to seek for diverse source of funding. I think sometimes there's so much focus on getting funding from a certain source and they miss out. So an example is the program we're running. You find that a lot of people here don't even know about it. And this is Femi. Femi knows, he's our technical partner. And so there's funding available. Sometimes there are grants. So our program, the NPI, Mariam spoke a bit about it, has a cash grant component, and an equity component, and this is a government project that's available to everyone, different sectors and all of that. But you find out that some people don't apply because they don't even look certain ways, and they're so focused on going around VCs, knocking on different doors, and they don't look at other opportunities. Right now, there's so many funds for different things. There are funds for women, there are funds for people in certain areas. So just try to find different sources, a diverse source that you could start from. Like you said, you can focus on R&D or something. We saw, I think, Jennifer saw one of our startups that was so focused on getting money to build a model. Meanwhile, she hadn't even sorted the supply side. So stuff like that. So, thank you.
Yeah, these are really good points, in terms of like looking into the growth sectors, also diversifying funding in terms of where to get your funding. And also you mentioned the issues, the disparity between the North and the South in terms of products that are being put out there. But can we talk about the macroeconomic challenges? Maybe you can probably, Farah can talk about it a little, because the Naira is devaluating, and a lot of investors, especially international investors who might want to invest, kind of take a step back because they think it's risky. As if they invest in dollars and the Naira is going down, they're very concerned about the returns they'll get back. So I guess how can founders navigate around that? Or, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Really good point. Clearly, everybody knows the Naira is at one of its lowest, and investment, especially in Nigeria, now looks a little bit less attractive. And I think the best way to navigate this and the best way to sort of solve for this, and I was very much involved in a program called Project Sparrow, funded by USAID. My company also, of course, we actually led that program. And one of the things we advised the startups to do is, register your company abroad. You can be operational here in Nigeria, right? But nothing stops you from registering somewhere in Delaware, and of course you have to also understand the intricacies around registering these companies abroad. Some have more flexible conditions on tax, on repatriation of your money, and the rest of it. So you have to, as a founder, you have to really understand these issues. Do you want to go to Cayman Islands? Do you want to go to Delaware? Do you want to go to Bermuda? And things like that. I think it's also important to note that when you're raising your fund, I'm an angel investor myself, and it is less likely that I will do Naira denominated deals, right? And it just makes a broader case for you registering abroad, because you say you're raising money, you're raising so these are whatever at X valuation, this is what you're raising in dollars. It's better you raise in USD, of course, localize, and it's even if you're bringing USD and coming to operationalize in Nigeria, it's more money for you, right? So there's nothing that really stops you from doing that. So I think it's the best way to navigate this issue of Naira depreciation and the rest of it.
This is very interesting. I'll tell you a story. In one of my companies, we reached a point where we were in a precarious position. We did not want to sell equity, but we wanted to raise money. So we were left to either go for grants or go for loans. A lot of the investment in Nigeria from banks it's not feasible. The interest rate is at over 25-26%, right? In many cases, some banks ask for 30. From a business perspective, it's not feasible. So what we noticed, one of the main things you should be able to do is you need to be able to show marginal scale. Mainly what that is your profitability at a marginal level. How scalable can it be? Because that's the only thing that beats the Naira depression that is happening, right? If I am able to sell, for example, I'm in the agriculture business. I sell fertilizers, right? My market is appealing to 60% of Nigerians. Literally 60% of Nigerians identify as farmers, either from a livestock perspective or something. So the advice here is make sure you don't go into something you like, go into something people want. If you go into something people want, the scale in Nigeria will compensate for that depression, because you're able to now, from targeting say 1 million customers a year, you'll be able to hit 30 million in no time, and your revenue generation will be able to compensate that. So that's the only way we look at it. I hope that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, like you said, startups should try and position themselves better so that they can better meet, investors' expectations. Because,
And I just wanted to add that they also need to really understand the macroeconomic space, so that when you have shocks, they're not affected that well. You have people that don't cost well, for example, and then you have investment in dollar, but then your revenue is in naira, and then slight shocks might. So people need to even understand the macroeconomic environment just so they can avoid that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like if you're a startup that's going to import dollars in, you're not really affected by, the economic conditions here. But for those who are maybe locally are getting their revenue locally, and maybe they have to, change it into dollars, maybe they should look into investors who, like the NSIA, might give naira before considering international investors, because you're trying to exchange and give back returns, so that might be difficult. But yeah, so in terms of what advice would you give? Because we're talking about how startups can position themselves better. I guess, are there anything else you feel like startups should position themselves better to get investments? You talked about profit, which is something huge now in the funding landscape. Before it was just more about growing, but now you have to be sustainable. Are there any other things you feel like startups should look into and position themselves better to get investments?
Yes. So after the Flutter Wave, the Paystack big break, of course, it was the advent of a lot of finance pouring into startups, and because of that, some startups they got money, they failed, and then that is why most investors are actually taking a step back, because it was the wave of massive financing, everybody got financing, yes, and stuff like that. So how do you sort of manage the current narrative that money has gone to waste, but you're still positioning yourself for better VC funding? I think team is very important. Who's on your team? As a startup founder, I was talking to someone a few days ago, looking to raise money for some really sharp ideas, especially in the government sector. And he's the technical guy, builds great products. All he does is, he says he doesn't sleep. He just builds and builds and builds and builds. But then who sells it? Who takes that product to the market? Who's your face when you get to a meeting? I think your team is very important. So as a startup, and industry trend has also shown that angel investors, VCs, are leaning more on serial entrepreneurs, right? You've started one or two businesses before, it's been good, you exited or you returned some form of money, no matter how little, or you exited on your own, you've moved on to other stuff and things like that. So I think startups should focus on building a strong team. You have a serial entrepreneur that can come on board as a co-founder, as a COO, as even the board, being on your board as an advisor or things like that. I think it will go a long way in also helping you and supporting your positioning, even as we weather the storm of low financing in VC today.
All right, just a minute, please. Just a minute. Please, we'd like to invite the other panelist. Please, he stepped out before. Fahad Galba Aliyu, the managing partner of Ignite Capital Limited. Please, a round of applause for him. All right, thank you very much, sir. All right.
Okay. So, by way of advice to startups, I'll first try to speak to the pitches we saw today. One of the major comments that I have, guys, is whenever you ask for something, give something back. So we saw a lot of people asking for $1 million. $1 million for what? Right? $1 million for equity, $1 million for equity and debt. How are you paying back? When we all start entrepreneurship boot camp, they always teach us what, why, when, and how. But we do not remember that we over fantasize our product and forget the business aside, right? Always try to speak to the crowd that you have. Today we're here speaking to investors and financiers. So speak to the numbers more than the product because you only had 5 minutes, right? So I was expecting a lot more in the sense of, okay, we're asking for $1 million. This is what we will do with the $1 million. This is how we'll pay you back. So that's one. Another very important thing that startups need to look at is corporate governance. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I come from that background, but corporate governance, even at a startup level, is very, very important. I, as an investor, will not give you my money if you don't have 3, 4, 5 policies that guide your operations. This just shows that you know what you're supposed to do. You know, at the very least, there's a text that is guiding the way you operate. So please, guys, take corporate governance very, very importantly. As you scale, it scales with you. Start with a simple 2-pager, 3-pager policy that has to do with who you are, what you do, how you operate, and try to research what are industry best practices. And implementing that will only guide you to do better things in your sector.
Thank you. So I'd like to add about 3 things. So the first one is networking and ensuring that you're in the right community. So we saw from one of our winners, I saw a post on Twitter. Someone said, oh, you know, all the top 3, they all belong to the same network or something like that. And then you have people that have never heard about it. Sorry. So you need to place yourself you need to know the right people. You need to be in the right space. You need to network. You need to collaborate. And some startups want to do everything by themselves. There's always collaboration. You don't want to do everything from, you're doing businesses and then you're doing the logistics and you're doing everything. You can collaborate just to make, to be more productive. And the last one is continuous learning. You need to keep learning. Right? You need to keep knocking doors. You can't get tired of it. You just have to continue. I wanted to add one more thing on mentorship. So we found out like some people have an opportunity to get like capacity building or mentorship. Some of them take the extra Q to personalize it. So make sure they get like tailored mentorship. So for example, when we run our program, you have facilitators giving instructions and you have people asking questions that are related to their business. So they're getting tailored advice, not very generic. So when you come to pitch, for example, you have someone that will tell you, you know what you should. You show people your deck, your pitch deck. Sorry, you consult people so they can give you advice, specific advice. So you don't come here and then someone saying, "Oh, what are you giving back?" You should know these things before you get here. So thank you.
I guess just to give you more context, I know you were out. I guess we're just speaking about how startups can better position themselves. To meet, investor expectations. So if you have any tips that you would like to add from what the group just said.
Sorry for being late. I think I agree with both points, and I think very important when it comes to mentorship, like if you don't have a mentor, please go find one. Because it's very important. Mentors help open doors that will otherwise take you forever to open. And I think almost every successful person, if you talk to them, they will tell you they all have mentors, because there are certain mistakes that you can avoid, because a lot of people have done those mistakes numerous times. So by having a mentor, it's just easier. They will easily advise. When it comes to investing and what to look for, you invest in people, not ideas. Right? It doesn't matter how good your idea is. It's worthless. It's the implementation that really matters. So I think based on the presentations and what he said, looking at your credibility, what you've done, how big the problem is, what makes you different, or why are you the right person to solve it, and what is the exit. Because if you invest, everybody wants to have an idea of what the exit plan is, right? Are you trying to sell it? Are you trying to go public? I think it's very important. Before there was easy money in the system, but now there isn't really as much. And I think there was a lot of excitement, but now we are finding, you know, founders tend to overvalue their businesses. You see, there's somebody I met a few months ago, a first-time founder, was saying the valuation of his business is 100 million. And because he's dealing with chips, he's like, NVIDIA is this, but like, it doesn't matter, you know, but you are a first-time founder, right? There's no way anybody will take you serious if you're coming to say you're valuing your company, you know, for $100 million. But I think there's still money, but you just have to work harder to access it. And another problem, I think sometimes people get easy money, similar to this company that just that they burnt, I think, about $20-something million. They spent about $15 million in a year without a single product. The founder was paying himself $1-something million, right? So, and that's where the governance framework comes, right? If you have a board, there's no way they will allow you pay yourself $1 million, right? And you know there will be those check and balances. And unfortunately, these kind of failures affect the whole system, right? Because it's easier to hear about failures, and then investors now will be more skeptical, and they will have more, I think, they'll be more strict with how they invest their money, which unfortunately, it's a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing because there's no easy money in the system. Yeah.
Thank you. I think these are all valid points, and I'm hoping that startups here will take them. I guess maybe we can round up. I think we're a little bit out of time. So maybe we can just have a last question. It's open to all. I guess like now that, you know, we've spoken about the expectations from investors to startups. I guess what emerging trends do you see in the African ecosystem that startups should be aware of? And how can they capitalize that?
Trends. I'm trying to think.
Maybe go for it. As you think, I think food security and AI. These two things, if you look at them from what other successful countries have done, not from the idea perspective, from the implementation perspective. Because I operate, again, in my sector, I like to give this example always to look at countries that used to be in famine before that have come out. Countries like India, countries like Rwanda, countries like Kenya at one point was in famine, right? Nigeria is tilting towards that a little bit. There's a lot we can do, and it's ideas that generate from places like this that make the solutions happen. Don't be discouraged to build a company just because it exists. There's a lot more market out there, so build and build and build and operate them and compete, because competition will allow us to excel. Competition will allow us to improve. The next trend is in AI. AI can be a good thing and a bad thing to some, but I will always advocate for AI. Why? Because as a smaller company, if you have good understanding of AI, it solves you from hiring 3 people, right? 4 more people, 5 more people. By getting one person that has good understanding of AI, by implementing AI, you are able to scale your operations without scaling your expenditure. That's very, very important for us that are not very big yet, right? So think of AI solutions in your sector, things that people have already built. You don't have to go and be an AI expert and build something. Look at integration, kind of like what one of the companies is showing us, right? Try to integrate with already existing companies. Look at what they are doing and feed it into your own value proposition. And that is how we take advantage of existing trends.
So another trend I'm seeing is people shifting towards more impact-based investments. So you're thinking health now, renewable energy, education. So now another case study is our program. Last year we had a lot of fintechs, right? But this year you have a variety. There's someone that came with like a community-based app. So things like that. So definitely moving towards more impact-based models.
Thank you. So I think we've all said valid points, especially around the sectors that are trendy now, AI, green economy, and the rest of it. But I think one other thing that is important is diversification of that portfolio. I see VCs now going into emerging markets, right, and emerging spaces. For one, our own VC firm, last year we decided to go into Francophone Africa, right? So the likes of Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso. I'm not saying you can domicile your company in those places if you don't have the weights and the bands. But you can partner with some guys, integrate APIs, just reach out to those emerging markets. The Northern Found from where we are today is another emerging market that you can, play around, tap into those spaces, see what is possible in those spaces. I know North Africa is on the rise now as well. So is Southern Africa. East Africa and West Africa are like the big boys, but there are emerging markets all over the world. And I think it's a trend for VC firms, for angel investors to see new things out of that place, take interest in them, and back them with some funding.
Maybe I'll touch maybe on not necessarily a trend, but FX exposure, which I think from a funding point, right, is very important. So imagine if, let's say, you took a loan of $1 million last year, right, 800 and something. So literally now you have to pay 1 point something, right, then plus the interest. So if you are asking for $1 million, right, and somebody gives you, because you have to convert, but then the reality of it is I know investors that are not investing in Nigeria right now because of the Naira exposure. As long as your business doesn't bring in hard currency, they really will not invest, because even if your business grows, but in real value, Nigeria used to be the biggest economy, but because of literally the crash in our currency, we are now number 4, right? So I think if you're looking for an investor, you have to think about that, because nobody will want to put their money when they think 2-3 years down the road they will become poorer for it. Though I've seen some VCs that purely invest in startups that earn hard currency. If you purely earn Naira, but even if you are earning Naira, will you be able to say you're making so much money that you can cover that? Is that realistic? But if not, how do you look at your business model? Because that is a massive risk that I think on the short run will affect a lot of investment coming in.
Thank you so much. I feel like these are very valuable points. We dived from talking about AI to help with efficiency and reduce in terms of labor cost, to the macroeconomics conditions you just talked about and how you can navigate it, and also just how startups can take these trends and also leverage it so that they could be better to attract investor expectations. So yeah, I think this is the end of the panel, unless you guys have anything to add. So we'll now maybe take some few questions. Okay, 2 questions.
Hi, thank you very much for your talk. I think it was very, very interesting. I'm a founder myself. I have a company called Tate's Trainers at Your Doorstep. So we've been in process for up to 3 years. We've been trying to grow and then innovate our idea based on the ecosystem that we find ourselves. And one of the biggest problems we continue to see, especially when we want to raise funds, is policy, government policy. And every year it seems to get worse. And currently, right now, if you check with whole situation happening with Dangote refineries and the government, it kind of deters investors even more to see the biggest player in the market being drawn down because of government policies and non-collaborative support from the government. So how do you advise founders to work around spaces where there are a lot of regulations and a lot of checks? And two, you know, apart from places like CC Hub, Lagos, you know, TT Lab that is coming on, mashallah, we don't have a lot of places where founders can come learn about, especially like what you've talked about, board, team, because some of us, we find it very hard to actually get team, you know, especially the fact that you can pay the team, you know, we are still building products with friends, you know, people who may find your idea interesting. So how do you advise people go about finding these people? You know, what places do you think we can find these people to? And then also, yeah, the government policies question. Thank you.
All right, let's take the second question, please. So just answer it. Please, straight to your question, please.
So my question is, it's more of like an advocacy. A lot of the times through incubation or accelerators, one of the emphasis is about raising funding. But I don't see a lot of emphasis about bootstrapping. So founders are just, okay, raise funding, and then you create a plan about raising funding. The funding doesn't come, your idea dies. So I think there is need to be done about bootstrapping. People that can't find funding, how can they really build with the little resources they have?
All right, thank you very much. So please, let's make it snappy. Thank you.
Okay, so the Dangote example, I think change is always difficult, right? And there's always cabal in something, right? So even I think he said it, you are trying to disrupt an industry, right, where there's a lot of vested interest. So obviously they will push back. I think, I don't think there's any sector that there is vested interest they are trying to disrupt that people will not push back. That's just the reality of, you know, the world we live in. Because some people, the system as it is now, they are making money out of it, whether legally or illegally, right? So you are trying to disrupt that, right? Obviously, it's better for the country, but obviously, I think that pushback is expected. Maybe not as much as this, but in terms of policy, I think there are industries that companies are doing well in Nigeria. So I think the Dangote one is specific. Yes, we have issues. Generally, we are not as, and I think maybe the startup bill was, you know, a process to try to make the environment a bit more conducive, you know, to the startup space. We still have a lot to do, but at least we are moving, I think, in the right direction. What's your second question? So I think that's why networking matters, right? So I think if within your space you are surrounded with from people that are curious, right, or maybe coming to this kind of events, like when you start something, if you like, you don't have a clear picture of how it will end, but the moment you start and you put yourself out there, meeting the right people, the right ecosystem, you will find the right people that will actually be willing to take that risk with you. And if you are having that problem, maybe you are not doing a good job in explaining your idea to get somebody to come on board. And when it comes to raising money, initially you have to raise from your friends and family. If you cannot convince any friend or family to invest, then I think your idea is there's a problem there. But I think in most cases, that's where it starts from. And when it comes to learning, there are a million resources online that you can learn from, at least initially. And then putting yourself out there, I think over time, it just falls into place. I started with a foundation. I run a financial firm now, right? So I think it's a journey, right, that moves. As long as you are willing to put yourself out there, I think the pieces just over time, they fall in place.
Is there time? Yeah, you can. Okay, just a couple of points on, first of all, the team, right? That corporate structure that we spoke about, like he said, the most important thing is, and I'll answer all three questions at the same time. You look at the industry that you operate in. you try to go to cohorts and organizations. First of all, start with the government. Go to whichever ministry there is, ask them questions. There are 1 million organizations that have submitted something to the government trying to do something, and there are a group of normal people like us. Try to reach out to them directly. As a founder, you don't have the luxury of allowing people or partnership to come to you. You go and find it wherever it is. You speak to whoever will give you 2 minutes, right? In terms of the corporate structure that you need, any uncle that you have, your father's best friend, whoever that you look at with an inspiring eye that can teach you something, can start as a board member of your company. Their job is not for you to pay them. Their job is to give you their wealth of advice. The main thing is, am I making a financial decision? They will get a vote on whether you're making that financial decision, right? And that is what you need, because as operators, we have tunnel vision. So we are always focused on what we want to achieve, not seeing what happens. That structure allows for people to checkmate you. So whoever that has any kind of public service, private sector experience that you know, put them as your team. I always tell my people, especially in the north, we have this mentality of and son's business, right? It's only me, myself, and I that own it. You can't do that. Always start a business understanding that right now one of the biggest businesses, Amazon, the owner owns not up to 15% of the company. So think towards that. How do I divest? How do I allow people to come in? And it'll be easy to allow people to come in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think we've said, we've almost said it all, especially around the team thing. But just to add a single point on the policy thing, policy eats strategy for lunch, we all know, right? And I think one of the ways we can get involved in this policy making is, for example, the Nigerian startup bill that came to being was as a result of some folks in the industry coming together to say, let us put something like this out, you know. I'm not saying you don't necessarily have to run for office, even though that's not a bad thing, but you can be part of advocacy groups, you know, trying to ensure that the right policies are in place. We are not there yet. We are absolutely not there yet, but I think we are closer than we were. And there's some sort of hope that we can have policies come our way, go our way, and do things like that. But it's important that we are part of that process and not just sit behind and complain about policies not good for us and stuff like that. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, so I think you said it all, but I'll just add one. He asked a question about that vacuum where you've not raised funds and then you have that period where there's nothing to do. So I think for me, and I got this point from Soraya, I don't think much can be done for you. You have to find what to do for yourself. So if you go and then you don't seek funds, you have to find out why you're not seeking funds. I remember Soraya was saying sometimes in an industry where they've seen that failed maybe and they're thinking what's different. So you just have to study and see how you can improve yourself, what can be different and unique in order to move forward. I don't think anyone's going to come and like try. I'm not aware of any support for that stage in the circle. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I hope your questions were answered. Just key takeaways, you know, try to understand, you know, the investor expectations from, you know, making sure you have the right team, you know, you have the right corporate governance in place, you know, as well you're targeting industries that they're interested in, also showing growth, and many more things. I don't want to take too much time, but thank you again for your insights in this panel.
All right, a round of applause for them, please. Thank you very much.
As we come to the end of today's event, I hope you've taken one or two things. I was surprised by the turnout of some of the people that I invited. They're not here right now, but I want to say a special thank you to Nasser. He's the SSA on innovation, and I was hoping he would be here for the policy question, but also the SA on ICT policy was here. We have Lofty Inc. here as well. We have Surfital, and UNDP has been an incredible supporter, as well as NSIA. I want us to know that putting people together in this type of room and having this type of discussions, they have impact. You might not see it right now, but what you would see is probably a government launching a program another time, and you would see more representation because they've been here and they've seen founders that can do something. Lofty Inc. could be launching something tomorrow, and now they know there are a couple of founders in the north and they should reach out. So it is really essential to bring the ecosystem together, and I want to say a huge thank you for this. I also want to say a few things about what the UNDP is doing. So the UNDP has brought together a working group specifically to catalyze the northern ecosystem, and that working group is part of the supporters of this current activity today. They're giving media visibility to all the startups here today. So you see them on Tech Cabal, on TechPoint, on TechCrunch, simply because somebody has come forward to support us. Thank you so much to Jainaba, to all the speakers, to all the panelists, to everyone that's made the time to come here and stay with us throughout the program. It gets boring sometimes, so I'm really glad that you stayed through. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. We would like to say thank you again to Starling Bank, to Cafe One, to Sofital, Metronet Broadband, NewG, UNDP, and all the partners, board and those offline. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.